Okay, guys, so now we're going to be moving on to our lesson. Thank you for completing your do now. We're working on understanding what a good reader knows how to do in terms of identifying the setting. And so today we're going to focus on that. We're going to focus on settings. So, can someone tell me what a setting is? You can take yourself off of mute and answer what a setting is.
Setting is like the place, time, the context of where everything's happening.
Very good, very good. And what is the context? Cheryl, can you take yourself off mute and let me know what context is?
Context provides a background.
Very good. And now we're getting into historical context. Raven, could you tell me what historical context has to do with a setting?
The time period.
Very good. The time period of what's happening and where this is actually happening. And what about social context? What does social context have to do with the setting? Can someone tell me?
It's specific to the place or immediate location or social background.
Okay, very good. So I hope that you guys are taking your notes. I hope that you're having your writing utensils. Show me if you have your writing utensils close by, that you're able to take your notes. Make sure that you are taking notes because we're going to be going over this again. We want to make sure that everyone is getting all the information. This is something we have gone over already. So if you have your writing utensils, very good. If you have it, you will be taking notes. So understanding social and historical context, which is the setting, helps us to picture the place, what the characters are doing, and understand more about the actions and the choice that they make. So today we're going to focus on skills that come out of identifying settings. Okay. So now we understand that as we're writing and becoming good readers, we have to understand the context and the setting that we are actually using. So let's turn our pages to the mini lesson. Everyone get to the mini lesson. I hope that you guys all took the time out to fill in the blanks. So we are going to go over it. I need you guys all focus. I need eyes on me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. So let's start. The court case gave African American students the right to go to the same schools as white students. Fill in the blank, Raven.
Brown versus the Board of Education.
Very, very good. Historical context describes the larger blank that the characters lived in based on the blank period or blank that a book is setting. Cheryl, what you got for me?
Social context, time and setting.
Very, very good. And characters blank and act in certain ways based on the social and historical context. So do people, Milton, what's the answer we're looking for?
Characters behave and act in certain ways.
Very good. I hope you guys, if you did not have that filled in, I hope you have it filled it in. Show your paper that you have it filled in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. We're moving on to growing up with segregation. We will be doing popcorn style. I need everyone to be following along. You'll never know when I may call on you. Growing up with segregation, excerpted from Lisa Delpit, Explaining Racism, Harvard Graduate School of Education, spring 2000, pages 15 to 17. Cheryl, start for me.
Lisa Delpit is an educator who grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at a time when police officers patrolled the street and separated the city's Black and white residents. Although that time in history has passed, her experiences continue to shape Delpit's views, including her hopes and fears for her child. In a letter to her daughter, Maya Delpit writes,
Thank you, Cheryl. Pick up, please.
As much as I think of you as my gift to the world, I am constantly made aware that there are those who see you otherwise. Although you don't realize it yet, it is solely because of your color that the police officers in our predominantly white neighborhood stopped you to talk when you walked our dog. You think they're being friendly, but when you tell me that one of their first questions is always, do you live around here? I know that they question you right to be here. They question your right to be here. That somehow you being here threatens their sense of security.
Thank you, Raven. Milton, pick up, please.
I did not have to be told much when I was your age. When I was growing up in Louisiana in the 1950s and 1960s, the color lines were very clearly drawn. I followed my mother to the back entrance of the doctor's office, marked colored. I knew which water fountain I was supposed to drink from. On the bus ride to my all-black school, I watched white children walk to schools just 2 or 3 blocks from my house.
Thank you, Milton. Cheryl, pick up, please.
In large part, my childhood years were wrapped in the warm cocoon of family and community who all knew each other and looked out for one another. However, I remember clearly my racing heart, my sweaty palmed fear of white policemen who entered my father's small restaurant one night and hit him with nightsticks, the helpless terror when there were rumors in our schoolyard that the Ku Klux Klan would be riding, the anxiety of knowing my college age foster sister had joined the civil rights marchers in a face off against the white policemen
Thank you,
and their
Cheryl.
dogs.
Raven, pick up, please.
And I remember, Maya, the death of your father, your grandfather was when I was 7, who died of kidney failure because the colored ward wasn't yet allowed to use of the brand new dialysis machine.
Thank you,
Your
Raven.
world
Milton, pick up, please.
Your world is very different, at least on its surface. In many ways now is a more confusing time to live. As any mother would, I have a great need to protect you, but it is hard to know how. My childhood experience was different from yours. When I was in my segregated all-black elementary school, we were told by teachers and parents that we had to excel, that we had to do better than any white kids because the world was already on their side.
Thank you, Milton. Cheryl, next.
When your cousin Joey was in high school, I remember berating him for getting a D in chemistry. His response was, "What do you expect of me? The white kids get C's." Recently, a colleague tried to help an African American middle schooler to learn multiplication. The student looked up at the teacher and said, "Why are you trying to teach me this? Black people don't multiply. Multiplication is for white people, Maya." I think that may I think that may be the biggest challenge you or other brown children will face, not believing the limits that others place upon you.
Thank you. Very good. So, what do you think Lisa was saying? What is one thing that she felt that her daughter and other brown children would face? Raven?
being asked if they lived in that neighborhood.
Okay, but there's something else that we just found out at the ending of the reading passage when she said that she wanted to tell Maya that she think the biggest challenge that her and other brown children would face would be what?
Are we believing the limits that others place upon themselves?
Very good, very good. Now, what are some adjectives did she use to describe in this lesson of segregation? What are some words that stood out to you as she was describing to her daughter what she faced during segregation? What are some things that stood out to you?
She discussed her anxiety.
Very good. What else? There's some other things that she discussed.
Being threatened.
Very good. One more,
by
Milton, tell me.
security.
Yeah, her fear. Let's see what else. Fear the. I guess the expectation of white kids and herself.
Very good. And so, what are the lessons that she wants her daughter to learn? Because we see that, she was explaining to her daughter, you may think when we're in the neighborhood and you're walking the dog and you're stopped by a white police officer and they're asking you how you're doing, she's trying to let her know that that's not really what it is. What is she trying to explain to her daughter? What does she need to do?
Can you repeat? Can you repeat the ending of that question?
So, what is it that Lisa's really trying to convey to her daughter? She does say to her that you may think, she said, although you don't realize it yet, it is solely because of your color that the police officers in our predominantly white neighborhood stop you to talk when you walk our dog.
I think that in that part of the message, she's trying to convey that um, they're pretty much insinuating that she doesn't belong there.
Very good. It says, she said, you think they're being friendly, but when you tell them that one of their first questions is, do you live around here? That should really spark something in you. That should really make you think. And so, with this, where she was telling her daughter, she's trying to prepare her daughter for what it may look like for her growing up because of what she experienced and what she wants her daughter to take from it. And all of us as a whole, other brown children, to not let other people put limits on you and believe that, because just because the white kids are getting C's doesn't mean that you have to get a D. You have to set your standards above. Does everybody understand? Is there
Yes,
anything that was said that everyone did not understand? If you understand, give me a thumbs up. If you're still a bit shaky, I need a middle. Or if we need to continue going over, I need a thumbs down. Okay, everyone's good. Let's put our papers away and we're moving on to our next lesson.